Hello, everyone. It's Michaela here with another quick snippet of And All the Things. I am going to take just a second and invite my friend Brad to join. Let's see. Whoops. I love this part. Oh, if you remember, let's see, is he coming? Hello, Brad. We'll get you in here, I promise. There you are. Oh my
Hey,
goodness. It's an aloha shirt.
yes,
Did you
just
wear
for
that
you.
just for us today?
Am I in?
Oh,
I'm clear?
you
Good.
are
I'm good.
all clear for takeoff. This is always one of those parts where I just had to let the old dinosaur lady in me go and just embrace it, right? Because getting people into Instagram Live has been that like trigger point, which makes me feel old. So if we're going to talk about technology,
Seems like it went
this
pretty well.
this was really easy. So I got to say, I mean, I'm online with a Google expert, so I would hope that you would be savvy here.
Yes,
But so check it in. How are you today, Brad? I love that you wore the shirt.
I'm great. Kayla, I'm doing well.
Good.
It's Tuesday. I'm off from school.
Wow.
4-day weekend.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
We
we have
had
a
one of
Monday,
our
Tuesday
days.
off. So
I like that they kind of do that. We had our Friday taken back, as you know, due to snow days, and that actually had me thinking from the parent and the administrator perspective. When we have snow days, and now that we have this incredible asynchronous learning opportunity post COVID, is there a value to using a snow day as a learning day and just transitioning home? Does that make sense?
well, I think it depends if there's a number of days in a row, but I think for one snow day, you want the kids to enjoy the snow and
Yeah.
go outside and go sledding or go skiing or
Hmm.
things like that. But it's both sides of the debate there in
Right.
terms of do you have an asynchronous learning day or do you get the kids off? Sometimes depending on
Right.
how I feel, I want one thing or the other.
Yeah.
But right now as it stands, it's pretty much you got to make up the days. Either on spring break
Yeah.
or at the end of the year or
Which
things like that.
is always tough because I agree. I want the kids to have that snow day, but when we get 2 and 3, I also want to have our planned vacations. I also want to have that, that anticipated other time off, like Memorial Day weekend and such. But I think that's where we are. And when I think about the podcast we recorded, and again, thank you for that, we talked so much about balance, right? Like balancing where you are given the conditions versus what you need. And I think that's a great highlight point of just because we can doesn't mean we should, right? Just because we can do Google Classrooms all day doesn't mean we should on a snow day. And it got me thinking about the title of your business, Evolving Educators. And I see that we have, I think, Dr. Scott Rocco. He's one of your partners in
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
looks
thank
like
you
he's
for
on there. Yeah,
joining.
I see
He's
that. Yeah.
here. And Casey Dolan. Hello, everyone. What does it mean to evolve? Right? Because I'm thinking about that word, and the old English teacher in me is like stuck on it. What does it mean to evolve, especially for educators today?
Yeah, I see Mrs. Dolan's on here. Mrs. Dolan's a colleague of mine, outstanding third grade teacher,
Hello,
Bragg
Mrs.
Elementary
Dolan.
School. Hi, Mrs. Dolan. Yeah, what does it mean to evolve? For example, I teach a course down at Rider University. I'm an adjunct professor. I teach a
Cool.
course there on Monday nights, and I'm always looking for new ways to kind of present the information and engage the students there in my class about how to use Google
Hmm.
products in the school setting. And so all weekend I was researching different ideas and different resources to kind of get that information across to students. So
What'd you come up with? Anything
yeah, I
curious?
really like to get the kids into different groups and kind of look at not only how to use the product, but how does it translate into the classroom. And
Mm.
I often like to break the class of 20 into different subgroups based on their major, whether it's elementary, secondary ed, or the subject that they want to teach, whether it's math or social studies, science, and kind of look at that Google product through the lens of that particular subject area,
Hmm.
brainstorm ideas, and then come back and share with the rest of the class. This is something simple that I try to do often is get the students talking about technology and their content area.
So, and thinking about that group, and hello to Cooper Marv who joined. Is that your
It's my
Cooper?
father-in-law.
Oh,
Hi, Marvin.
hello. So nice to meet you, sir. When you think about that group of aspiring educators, and we think about evolving and changing, I know what I was worried about when I was, about to step into that world of having my own classroom. What are today's worries from blossoming teachers? Like, what are their concerns?
I think it's always what the concerns have been. Connecting with the students, knowing your students, showing them that you care about them, even when sometimes it may drive you crazy. Having them get to know you.
Yeah,
Once that's established, the technology and the pedagogy and the content is important as well. I
yeah,
think teachers are always concerned about those things and how that translates into the school settings. It's not always perfect in the classroom. A lot of things are going on. Some other, things that are coming into the educational environment is obviously school safety is a top priority. So we
right,
always try to make sure that not only staff but students and parents and community members understand why we want to keep our schools safe in Chester and some of the different ways that we do that. Some we can share and some we can't.
right.
I think safety is important, and the evolving edscape of edscape. I said I used to be a conference landscape
I was like,
of
wait,
artificial
tell me about this.
intelligence. Yeah, artificial intelligence is really becoming. I wouldn't say a concern, but definitely a new thing that
Yeah,
educators need to think about and how they're going to use it as teachers and how students are going to use it as learners.
right. Because it's coming and it's changing exponentially, and I
Mhm.
think that's where my head is today. And we've got Kevin Searfoss, one of my old administrators, on
Okay.
here. So hello, and I just you're right. The concerns are always the same. My concern when I was becoming a teacher is the same as today. How do I connect with these kids in a safe and supportive way that they can go out and change their world, right? But to your point, we have evolved so fast and it's hard to keep up with that. So, what are some of your trusted sources? Because we say Google and everyone's like, oh, well, you can't trust Google, right? But you can when you know how to use it, right? Like when you understand how it's structured, where it comes from, which is basically education. But what are some good sources for professionals and parents alike to go to stay on top of what's happening in the world today as it pertains to education?
Yeah. So, I think it's important for parents and educators, all school stakeholders, to leverage social media
Mm,
to kind of stay in the know of what's going on. Whether you follow somebody, like me or Kelly Dolan or Scott Rocco or the thousands of educators that are out there sharing content
hmm.
on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on
Right.
Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, you name it. There are educators out there sharing the great things that are going on in their educational spaces. And so I would look at that, whether it's Instagram has a great hashtag, teachers of TikTok or Twitter has a great hashtag, SatChat or EdChat.
Mhm.
You go through those hashtags and you're always seeing people post content of things that are going. So that's one way you can stay connected
So just like
as
the kids
a
though, how
stakeholder.
do we know what's trustworthy? Or is it like when I was teaching, it was you better find three sources that support and or refute so you have a better understanding your position. Is that what it is? Like, let's look for the good and if I want to stay informed, just check your source. Like, does this person, because Instagram, TikTok, you could have anything. I could say anything, right? But go back and look at my profile and see if I'm a credible source. See if I'm speaking your language. See if I'm even qualified, right, to have this position, because we have to do both. We have to be conscious of what we're taking in because we're trying to teach our kids how to do that, right? And that's the evolution of staying on top of that. And I don't know, for me, before I'm like, well, the schools are doomed, everything's going to hell in a handbasket, it's all over. But is it really? Or is that just a headline I saw at the top of the page, but beneath it, there's all these stories of positivity and good news, you know? And then it's
Yes.
balancing
Click, click,
all of that.
click. They're trying to make you click on things, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we
No,
have to slow it
you got to
down.
go with what you believe in, right? What do you
Yeah.
believe in? What do you, what are you passionate about? Your upbringing. What has your upbringing taught you?
Hmm.
What has your experiences taught you in life? Whether being a teacher, being an administrator, doing being a coach, whatever you are, and then perspective is important.
Yeah.
So
So it's everything
yes,
because when we, whether it's education or parenting or social media, it's how am I taking, we're taking it in any way you cut it, right? But it's
Mhm.
how am I taking it in? Under what context of my childhood, my current situation, my hopes, and then filtering it in with good foundations, which is back to education.
Yeah, it's my perspective,
Oh,
it's your
yeah,
perspective, and it's okay to go out there in social media and see, although sometimes some people's perspectives are a little out there, to kind of see what our people are thinking about as in regards to certain topics, and then
yep,
again matching that up with yours, doing additional research, leaning in on those resources,
yep.
those sources that are important to you, and kind of making an informed decision and moving on from that.
I like it. So when you think about evolving and staying on top of information, we talked last time about how much, I love books. I love to touch and hold the books. Do you have any favorite books that you either reread or give out as gifts, or what are some, because the way you look at team, community, passion, purpose, right? How can other people take some of what you're learning and add it into their evolution?
Well, I started currently. I'm starting to read a book on school law, but I'm not going to bore people with that right now. But it's amazing the different cases that come up around the state, around the
Oh, I bet.
country, and just to stay informed about those certain cases. Even though when something does arise, school districts always lean on their own attorneys to
Right.
get them through that particular issue. A book that I purchased a couple years ago that I continue to. I kind of read books, multiple books all at the same time. Can't get really through one book. Peter DeWitt recently wrote a book called De-Implementation.
Hmm.
Peter DeWitt is an educator, a speaker, who goes around the world and speaks about different things in education. And his focus over the last couple of years has been on de-implementation and really focusing on what matters and kind of the other things kind of
So,
not focusing on as much.
so to de-implement, to unimplement, to take away the implementation of processes and beliefs, like, is it more of a whole list? Like, how do you de-implement?
Yeah, I think it could be whatever you want it to be. A small example, a simple example is, looking at professional development in my own
Mhm.
professional development and the professional development that I kind of help lead in the Chester School District. Kind of, do we need to do all of these things all the time? Can we
Right.
simplify and really focus on what matters, and incorporate, the teacher's voice into that PD,
Yep.
to what really matters. Yes, we can. We can with some things, and some things we can't
Right.
because they're mandated by the state or federal government. So, just things like that. Looking at your practices related to
Right.
classroom management or grading or whatever it may be in education, outside of education. Can we cut it down a little bit and really focus on what matters?
Well, and I think, again, I woke up thinking of evolve today, but we can't evolve if we're doing it that way because we've always done it that way. And there is so much. I mean, we referenced Mr. Lips in the podcast, and I remember, like, he was a great teacher. So don't, this is not a, but his paper was older than I was,
Yeah.
right? Taking the same notes. Now he implemented, he was effective, he did his thing, so be it. But we can't stay in that place in the world we live in today because it is happening way too fast. And if we're just having the PD because that's the way we do it, that's what people expect, but we're not getting, this is where we have to look at education as a business. If we're not getting the return on the investment of all those stakeholders' time, interest, and energy, why are we doing it? So I like de-implement. I like that. Pare it back down. What is the smarter, not harder way? Is there a technology or automation that can solve the problem, and make life a little more fun? Leave more time to go buy aloha shirts and wear them with your
That's
colleagues.
right. That's right.
I love that. Okay, so what else is happening in the world of Brad Currie? Is there anything exciting going on?
Well, it's coming up here on baseball and softball season, so
It's going to be
that's gonna it's
busy.
gonna be a crazy time beginning end of March and all the way through to the end of July. It's my son Cooper's last season here. He's a senior
Wow.
for high school, so that'll be fun to watch, but sad at the same time.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a long time.
he's been playing since he's 4 years old,
Wow.
so this will be it for him, and then continue to coach and watch
Hmm.
Sid play softball, and you know, hopefully get to relax a
Yep.
little bit. Um,
And all that
but that's
free time.
yeah, not much though, not much free time.
Well, so we checked in after the podcast was released, and you said your parents enjoyed
Hmm.
it. And I want to circle back to that only because that was something that we had talked about and you had shared before, that their pride matters, right? And that they enjoy the life that you've created. So I was grateful to hear that because that was one of my goals. If that's Brad's goal, that's my goal. Did you get any other feedback, or is there anything you would add to that podcast, um, to change it, to add to it, or anything?
Yeah, I think it doesn't have to be your parents. It can be anybody that's close to you
Right.
that their opinion matters. So when you do a podcast or a presentation, or you write a book, or you accomplish something at
Yeah.
work, you're excited to go tell
Yeah.
those people, and deep down inside they care that you are successful. So I think it's important to have those people in your life. It could be family, friends, colleagues.
Hmm.
That's really important. Even on social media, the
Yeah.
people you don't see, particularly in
Yeah.
person, you have that network of people that are really rooting for you. I know for me, I'm always rooting for others to do well in education because I know they're
Hmm.
talented. I know when they share more, they're impacting others, and it trickles down to the students
Yep.
and helps the students out. So whatever we can do to continue to open ourselves up to sharing what we know and helping others to help students, then I think we're in a
We're all
good
winning.
spot. Yeah.
We are, and that just reaffirms and highlights how important community is to you, right? Like you, with pride, you are representing your school district, your business
Hmm.
endeavors, your business partners, your children, your family, your parents. And we need more of that. I want a whole world filled with proud people,
It's
uniquely,
hard though. It's
individually
hard.
proud.
Yeah.
It can be. It really can be. But you've chosen to surround yourself with people who give it back, right? And that's something magical that we have to teach our kids for sure in this world where social media and consumerism will take everything, right? Who are your people? And I'm grateful to have you in my little people circle.
Same
Back
here.
again.
That's right.
Well, so friends, if you haven't already done so, please check Brad out at evolvingeducators.com, right?
That's right.
Get on the mailing list. It's great content, great information. And listen to our podcast, because one of the things that I really, really took away was you've got to talk to your kids. As a parent, as an educator, that relationship and being bold and honest and having boundaries with the phones and with the accessibility is really important. And I can't underscore that because we went through a whole situation with my daughter this weekend where there was like drama,
Drama.
and I'm like, you're in fourth grade.
Save the drama for
No.
your mama.
Oh my God. No, no, no. Do save it. But that's it. Save it for me. Let me manage it. Let me help you. Not let me manage it. Let me help you figure out how you want to manage it, kiddo. And let's do it safely and respectfully and in a way that, you know, isn't dramatic. so, so that was one of my takeaways, and I appreciate that. But as always, I appreciate you, and I thank you again for taking the time today to hang out with us. And to everybody else, I hope you make it a great day.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Kelly.
much.